Fabio Attanasio, 28 years old. I'm from Napoli. I moved to Milan 10 years ago and I run the Bespoke Dudes blog. In 2012 I decided to follow my passion for men's classic elegance, and so after graduating from law school I decided to open up a website to learn about tailors and bespoke tailoring in general and to inform my readers about this industry. And back then, in 2012, strangely enough, there was nobody, no young man in Italy speaking about tailors. There were websites from France, from United Kingdom, from Far East, speaking about Neapolitan tailors. Nobody in Italy was taking care of them, in English also, because there was also somebody who took care of the Italian tailors, but only in Italian. And I believe one of the keys of maybe the success of the Bespoke Dudes is that we speak about something very local to an international audience.
How did you take an interest in such a culture in the first place?
Well, maybe from my family, because my father is a lawyer, and when I was a kid I remember seeing him always wearing a suit, and then because of an inner passion for the industry you can't explain, you know. It's a passion, so you feel a push from inside to do something, and so that's why I started everything.
According to you, what does make a tailor unique?
A tailor is unique whenever he understands your needs and has got a style that is similar to yours, that can go with yours. Basically, this is an old approach to tailoring. Back in the days, in the 50s, when ready-to-wear was not existent yet, did not exist, people used to go to a tailor because of his cut. I want to go to Caraceni because Caraceni makes that kind of jacket. I go to Rubinacci because Rubinacci makes that kind of jacket, Neapolitan. Of course, now today things have changed, and apart from the big tailoring houses that keep a signature in their suits, the majority of the tailoring houses follow the client's needs. So, and this is something interesting, I must say, because it's a result of our times, you know. Now it's good to have a tailoring house that can follow your desires, you know, I want to have a Milanese jacket, even though I'm in Apulia. Why I should go to Milan? If I have a tailor who is capable to do the Milanese one, why not? You know, always, of course, it's gonna be like a mixture, but it's interesting. It's one of the things that I'm doing now. For example, I ask a Neapolitan tailor to do a Neapolitan shoulder with the Rollino sleeve head, which is more English, and with a Milanese buttonhole. You know, so I mix every part of the jacket from different. I take inspiration from different traditions. Milanese, Neapolitan, English. That's maybe today's tailoring. That's the evolution of bespoke tailoring today.
Could you tell us why tailoring seems to be deeply rooted in Italy and not elsewhere, or maybe in England?
Yes, because United Kingdom and Italy are the two cradles of bespoke tailoring. It was born in England. Then it moved to Napoli, and it took a lot of strength during the Second World War. Napoli took inspiration from British tailoring and reinterpreted British tailoring in a way which was more consistent and more true to its style. The Neapolitan jacket is nothing more than a translation garment of the Neapolitan way of living. It's lighter, it's relaxed, it's more casual in a way. It can be formal. I don't agree with those who say that a Neapolitan jacket can be very formal. that if you want to be formal, you gotta wear a British jacket. I don't agree with that. We can be both casual and formal. So, but in any case, it's gonna be always not stiff. It's not gonna be rigid. It's not gonna be, you know, too formal. It's gonna be an Italian, let's say, interpretation of something, of a rule.
Okay, and can you speak about some differences between English style and Italian style?
Yeah, yes. I believe that English style, coming from the military tradition, is more squared and I believe more serious. That's what the word I was looking for. Instead, if we want to remain in this kind of wording, I would say that Italian style is more fun. Is funnier, you know. Maybe because made in Italy is more romantic. So it's also easier to sell abroad. The concept of made in Italy is more marketable in general.
Yes.
And that's why now the trend today is the trend of a lot of Neapolitan tailors going to the Far East, going to Hong Kong, going to China or Japan, doing trunk shows. This thing is not happening with British tailoring, with British tailors, or at least not as much as with Neapolitan ones. Why that? Because maybe made in Italy is more interesting abroad, you know. The concept, our lifestyle, which is translated into our garments.
Can you speak about differences between Milanese, Roman, Pulian and
Yes.
Neapolitan style?
Yes, basically it's the subject of my research with the Bespoke Dudes. Milanese style, I believe I can say without shaking hands that is Caraceni style. Basically because back then in the 50s the biggest tailor house was Caraceni. So if you see a Caraceni jacket, you will recognize it from far away because it has got a peculiar lapel, a peculiar cut of the lapel, of the seam between the collar and the lapel, of the shoulder. It's very clean. Is let's say compared to the Neapolitan, is more similar to the British ones, even though it's not as heavy. The jacket in the British jackets are heavier. Italian jackets are lighter. And the excess of this difference is the Neapolitan one. Neapolitan is the opposite of the British tailoring. Let's say that Milanese jackets are in the middle. The original Neapolitan jacket, which is supposedly was invented by Vincenzo Ottolini, is the jacket without any shoulder padding, with just a light layer of canvas, with the front dart till the bottom, just the first front dart, this one, which is not done by the Milanese ones. For example, this is very interesting because in Milan, if you go to a tailor in Milan, they would say that this dart till the bottom is a mistake, or not. They wouldn't say a mistake, but for sure they would say that it's an help for the tailor, because they say that Neapolitan tailors are lazy. So with this cut till the bottom, it's easier to have the fronts of the jacket go round. Let's say they say far girare la giacca, so that the fronts can embrace your body.
Okay.
So they say with this dart till the bottom, it's easier to do this thing. Instead, in Milan, they do the same thing without the frontal dart till the bottom. So this is one of the first, for example, differences between Milan and Napoli. And the funniest part of this, of all this discussion, is that there is not one truth. Everyone is right, you know. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is how the jacket fits you. So whether you do it with the frontal dart at the bottom, whether you do a clean bottom, whether you use shoulder padding, at the end of the day, what matters most is how the jacket fits you and stop, you know. So this is very interesting because they keep fighting today. They keep saying, no, my way of doing the jacket is the right way, yours is the wrong one. So then I also went to Roma during the years of my research, and I found that in order to find out what were the distinctive features of a Roman jacket, and it was not easy, absolutely not easy, because Roma even more than Milan and Napoli, has got a lot of tailors coming from many cities. So you can easily find in Rome a tailor coming from, hailing from Calabria, hailing from Napoli, hailing from Sardinia. So they brought their local styles to Rome, and now Roman style is like a mixer. You can find a tailor in Rome that is maybe very similar to Savile Row, and you can find a tailor which is very similar to a Neapolitan one. Even I found a tailor who makes jackets like Caraceni. Why? Because in the 50s he used to train at Caraceni Milano. So you understand it's hard to define a Roman style. Apulian style, it's interesting. It's an history thing, an historic thing, because maybe tailors in the 50s, tailors in Apulia, used to do jackets in a peculiar way. For sure, what I know for sure, that in Apulia they didn't use the frontal dart till the bottom. Many of them used the second dart till the bottom, what we call fianchino. So you know that the jacket has got two darts on the front. Yes. Neapolitans bring the first one till the bottom. Some others bring the second one, the fianchino. Also, some new Neapolitan tailors do bring the fianchino till the bottom. You know, it's interesting because, for example, in Venice, there is a famous tailor who makes jackets without any dart on the front. So, without going too much into details, in my opinion, bespoke tailoring is more or less like Italian cuisine. Everything is good. Risotto from Milano is good as much as pizza from Napoli is good. So I would say that everyone is good. You just have to appreciate the differences, and you will find interesting things in every school, in every way of doing a jacket.
Can you speak about the Made in Italy? What is this? Is it a brand now, or?
Yeah, now it has become a brand for sure. Already a few years ago it has become a brand, and it's good for us, I mean for Italian people. It makes me sad to see that a lot of brands now produce outside of Italy, and sometimes fool people, fool customers, saying that they are completely made in Italy, their garments are completely made in Italy. So this brings me to another discussion, the reason why I launched the Bespoke Dudes, because I wanted to inform people about the real, what does made in Italy mean really, and the value of something that has been made in Italy. So I'm very sad about, I'm very sad of seeing people bragging about a made in Italy production, whereas maybe they have their garments made in China or whatsoever. I'm not saying that if you make something in China it's not good enough, but please tell, you know, and don't play with the brand made in Italy just because you are, I don't know, I'm not doing any names, I'm not doing name dropping, but it may happen. A lot of brands do it. And people actually buy their garments because they think that they are made in Italy. Maybe that brand makes some collections in Italy, but another percentage is made outside. So maybe they write in the inside, they write it because they have to inside, the label inside. But people in people's thinking, they're buying made in Italy. So I would like to stop this.
Which men inspire you the most through their use?
My icons are from the past. For example, now I had a jacket made by a Neapolitan tailor inspired by Totò. Totò is a famous Italian actor, a comedian. Comedian, can I say that? Comedian. Comedian.
Yes.
He was a very elegant man. He was a prince, a nobleman, aristocrat. I found on the internet a jacket, a photo of him wearing a jacket. He was in the position of three-quarter, lighting a cigarette, and I found it so inspiring because of the shape of the collar. It was very low. Now we used to have the crown very high. That crown was very low. The shape of the lapel, the shape of the sleeve had very rounded, okay, very broad, wider than usual, and also not as high as we have it today, a bit lower, very broad, with the sleeve rounded. It was incredibly inspiring, and I brought this picture to a tailor in Napoli. I said, please, let's do a jacket like this one. Okay. And we did it exactly the same. Another one was, for example, to tell you that my inspiration comes from the past, from a movie. One day I was looking at Il Gattopardo, a very famous Italian movie from, I believe it was shot, it's a story of a noble Sicilian family during, just before the unification of Italy. They were incredibly elegant. The costume designer in that movie was a genius. And during a scene, I saw a scene of Alain Delon. Alain Delon is one of the actors of the movie, as you might know from your country. He was wearing a jacket with a crown deeper than usual. Instead of having the angle here, the angle was coming up to the fold of the lapel. So, as before, I went to the tailor and I say, let's do a jacket like this. And we did 2 jackets in gabardine, cotton gabardine, inspired by that thing. So, when you ask me what is my inspiration, is this. It comes from the past, from movies, from books, from photos of elegant men from the past.
Why did you launch the Bespoke Dudes eyewear? Why eyewear?
Yes, eyewear because I like eyewear, first of all. Secondly, because I had the luck of meeting a man, 82-year-old man. He's an artisan, he's from Veneto, so northeast of Italy, and he's been producing eyewear by hand since 1962. Okay. 1962. He accepted to produce a little bit, a very small collection for us, and we were lucky enough to start a collaboration, to set up our own company, and the first order was like just one piece. Now we are ordering 1,000 pieces per time. So eyewear because I've always been quite, let's say, I had a penchant for eyewear, for sunglasses, and because I believe there was the need for in the market for a brand inspired by classic elegance. Our glasses are very consistent with our initial concept of the Bespoke Dudes. We did not go to China or to Japan where they make perfect glasses to have our production made. We went to Italy. So for example, we pay our glasses 7 times more just because they are in Italy. They are made in Italy compared to the price that we would have spent if they had been made in China. So the Bespoke Dudes eyewear is something that was born like last year, but we set up our own company with a business partner in March of 2015, and at the 31st of December of 2015 we closed our fiscal year with profit, which is quite unusual for a startup, you know. Why? Because there is our readers understood that we were true to our idea, our initial idea of selling a product made by the same artisans that we were talking about on our blog, on our website. For example, these ones,
Nice.
One of the main features of our glasses are in the hinges. Some brands used to, you know, as much as a jacket can be made in a different way, in different ways, also the glasses can be made in different ways. Why that? For example, some brands, to save money, used to glue the hinge of the glasses on the temples of the glasses. Our hinges are completely made by hand, with 4 screws, which are really hand screwed by a collaborator of that 82-year-old man I was talking about before. So it's very interesting because, for example, he told me we produce in a year the number of glasses that big groups produce in a day, in one day. So just to give you an idea of the proportions, you know. And it was very interesting to know that, for example, until 2008, before the big crisis, they used to hone the frames to make them smoother with the pumice stone, pietra pomice, pumice stone, coming from Lipari, from Sicily. Then in 2008, more or less, or 2007, the company failed, went bankrupt. And now they're taking pumice stone from Idaho, from the States, which is incredible, you know, because it's a pity to lose our identity, to lose our own producers. And why the Bespoke Dudes Hour is also to keep these artisans alive. Because of course you gotta understand that when he started in 1962, this man who makes these glasses, in his area there were 30 companies making the same glasses. Now there are 5 of them. 5 of them just survived to the crisis. So I don't want these to disappear, these crafts to disappear, as much as an umbrella maker or a cobbler or a tailor or a tie maker, shirt maker. There is a huge tradition, heritage in Italy, and it's the same of Velasca. I mean, the guys I collaborated with, I'm collaborating, they have their shoes made by craftsmen in Montegranaro. He's a man, a 40-year-old man. He works in a basement of his own house, in a basement. Okay. And he makes all the loafers by hand. And it's interesting because I know, you know, you would have never met him. There's no sign outside. You would have never known about him unless you were told, you know. And when I went to meet him, it was incredibly interesting. To be with him sitting at a table with a drawing of my loafer with a pencil, and we were actually designing the shoes. So like if I was to a tailor at a tailoring house, if I go to a tailor, I say I would like the pocket to be over there and the buttons to be like this. It's the same that I did with a cobbler. I asked him to do something, you know, the tassels and the heel and the shape and more rounded. Okay. And after 6 prototypes, we found the right one. Okay. So it's the same.
And you helped Velasca to develop it, or?
I just designed 2 models and I helped them with the communication of the models.
The brand exploded last year.
Exactly. Yeah. For imagine that they sold 1,500 shoes in 3 months. So they were very happy, and of course, so I was. So was I.
What are you wearing today?
Today I'm wearing a jacket and trousers by Del Cuore. Trousers are a flannel from Fox, dark grey with double pleats. Okay. I think they are, I don't remember, no, they are not reverse, so they're traditional. The jacket is a vicuña fabric from Piacenza. Very light as always, with patch pockets and the breast pocket, normal breast pocket, and nothing in the, no shoulder padding, nothing in the no rollino, very light. a tie which is made of wool by hand in Napoli, completely unlined.
Oh,
That's
nice.
how I like to wear my ties, because they gotta look like a foulard. They gotta be light.
Yeah.
It's pretty much, you know, you see, coherent with my idea of wearing a suit. You know, I hate heavy things. It's got to be light. It's got to be because today we wear a suit all day long, and if you wear a suit which is heavy as an armor, it will get you. You will be tired of wearing it at the end of the day. So the shirt is, I think, poplin made with 3 handmade steps. So the buttonhole and the mouche and the buttons are handmade.
Okay.
And that's it. Yeah, more or less. These shoes are in Cordovan.
Okay.
From Alden.
Oh.
Alden. Yes, and the watch is by Tudor,
Okay.
which is just time and date with silver dial and steel strap. Yes, that's it. I mean, I like saying that. I like to say that I know most of the people that make my garments. The clothes that I wear are made by people that I know. You know.
Okay.
So unless Alden, apart from Alden or Tudor, I personally know the tailor who made these trousers, the tailor who made this jacket, and the man who makes these ties by hand with the hedge, hand stitched. You know, it's a cultural thing. This is my world. You know, my way of looking at what I wear.
And do you have some passions apart from fashion?
I love traveling, I love reading, I love, well, I used to swim a lot a few years ago. Now that I'm working a lot, I can't go swimming a lot. But yes, those are my main passions. Yeah, but I'm quite a normal person. I don't have strange, habits.
And did you used to dress this way when you were at the Bocconi school?
Well, people would make fun of me if I if I wore a jacket and a tie at Bocconi. No, I was anyway careful about what I was wearing, of course, but there was no budget back then to wear garments like these. But as I told you, I have always been interested in this industry.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when are you being told, hold on, this is too much?
Well, maybe some years ago, it might have happened when I bought maybe a vest which was too loud.
Okay.
It has happened. Yeah, a friend of mine say, "What are you wearing?" It's not. You know, dressing is part of a journey. Maybe you don't wear anymore something now which you would have worn 1 year ago, because you get fed up fed up of seeing a garment, a special garment on you every day. So you want to change, and that's why I say it's a journey, because the more you grow, the more your taste changes, and so the way you're dressing. So of course, you always, I would not wear something I used to wear 3 or 4 or 5 years ago.
What is that you like about dotted pants? Because in France, some people actually see it as too vintage. So can you explain?
I only wear darted pants.
Yes.
I like the fact that I like to see the dart folded and that does not open out, you know, because simply it's the ability. It comes from the ability of the tailor to cut a dart which is perfect for your body, and also because it's simply, aesthetically speaking, it's more interesting to me to see a double pleated trouser. It's like more complete, you know. That's what I think, and it's also wider. It's also more comfortable because when you wear pleats, the trousers need to be wider.
How many garments do you bring to the PT?
No, just three jackets, three trousers. Yeah.
What do you think about French style? It's quite different. It's different between French and Italian style. So what do you think about that?
Well, I can speak about what I know. So maybe you guys have a lot of taste, of course. You are definitely the capital of men's fashion. As for the artisans, as for the bespoke culture, I'm not a big fan of the French style, speaking of bespoke tailoring. Maybe just because I prefer Neapolitan jackets, so maybe I'm biased. But yes, I think that why that? Because also in this case, also in the French case, maybe you are in the middle between British tailoring and Italian tailoring. For example, I don't like some of the constructions of the shoulders of some tailors in Paris. I don't like the constructions of the buttoning of some jackets from some tailors. So that's just my opinion. But I would love to know more, and in the future, for sure, I'm going to interview French tailors because they are on my list.
Is being elegant only a matter of what you wear, or?
Absolutely not. That's something I always say, and I get very angry when people, for example, once I've been told, I can see you are a gentleman from how you wear, which has got nothing to do with being a gentleman. Dressing well is just the last and the more recognizable part of being elegant, because it's the first thing that I see. But you can dress impeccably, you can have your suits made by the best tailor in the world, but there is a lot more, in my opinion, for being elegant. Elegance, it's something 360 degrees. It's a whole concept that takes your whole life, from how you speak, how you sit, how you write, how you talk, how you interact with people, and your way of living. It's a way of living, elegance. So you can't be elegant just because you wear something which is handmade. Also, this thing handmade is quite boring at the end. Handmade is an added value. But as I told you, at the end of the day, it's important how clothes fit you. I always say, I have in my wardrobe a jacket which is completely handmade, which fits me badly, and a jacket which is machine made, maybe glued, maybe it's half canvas, okay? So it has got glue and canvas, it's perfect, it fits me very well. So this whole handmade craze, okay, it's maybe too much now. I've interviewed, just quickly anecdote, I have interviewed a shirt maker, famous shirt maker in Rome. He's the personal shirt maker of Valentino Garavani, the stylist. And he told me something very interesting. He told me the number nowadays there is a craze, a run for the amount of handmade steps in the shirt. So a shirt maker says that he makes a shirt with 8 handmade steps. Another one says, no, I do a shirt with the 10, up to 32. I've heard about people who say, I make a shirt with 32 handmade steps. What's for? At the end of the day, it's important to see not how much handmade working there is in a shirt, but how that shirt fits you, you know. So the handmade working is just, as I told you, an added value. That's what I think.
What do you think about Pitti today, with a critical point of view?
Yeah. Now it's important, Pitti, for the industry. There is for sure a growing interest towards menswear in general. Sometimes there is also the good and the bad part, and the bad part is, in my opinion, represented by a lot of people who just dress up for Pitti, who are just curious, who come to be photographed, and that's the part I'm mostly ashamed of, because I mean, I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry in terms of why don't you just go to do your own thing and to do your job, and I mean, it's the old street style craziness that was born maybe 5 years ago, 4 years ago. Now we reach the point where people just go to the fairs, go outside fashion shows during fashion weeks just to be photographed by street style photographers. That's, in my opinion, crazy. In my opinion, this is incredible. I can't believe it. I couldn't believe at the beginning that people are really going to outside fashion shows without an invitation just to be photographed. In my opinion, it's got something more to do with fashion, because it's something also that was born with fashion shows. So Pitti is becoming a little bit like this, at this extent.
And the good side? And the
good side is that there is a growing interest,
yes.
And so this is good for the industry in general, because more and more people are interested in dressing well, and maybe some of them, or if not the majority of them, are dropping the famous brands for less known brands, but brands that produce garments which quality is assured, is granted, you know. Because people today wanna, I always say that wanna spend less, but wanna spend better, you know. So instead of buying 5 jackets, lousy jackets made cut in a very bad way, I prefer having 1 jacket which fits me very well. The general idea, in my opinion, which is good.
What are you doing here in Pitti?
At Pitti, I'm interviewing some brands. I'm here for my clients, for some clients of the Bespoke Dudes.
How does digital modify tailoring, which is a very classical universe, you know? And what about, for example, Rejoignez?
Well, Luca is a friend of mine, so I know him very well. He also had, I have a suit made by him with me now in Florence. And for sure, we also had the opportunity of holding a conference together in Madrid a few months ago, in October or November. And we were speaking about the same subject, how social media has influenced bespoke tailoring and Italian, made in Italy in general. In my opinion, it has got a good result, I mean a good influence. Why? Because it has helped to spread the word about Italian tailoring, about this fascinating world. The problem is that true bespoke tailoring needs the physical presence of a tailor, a craftsman, and client. The physical presence can never be substituted by internet. In my opinion, you always need to touch the fabric. You always need to speak with the tailor. He needs to see you live to understand what you want from a suit. And unless you, I don't know, maybe some people do fittings on Skype, maybe they do it well as well. But in my opinion, the web is will never fill the gap. bespoke tailoring needs to remain something traditional.
What about Facebook, Instagram? That play a good role in communication?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes, it depends, of course, on how you communicate.
Okay.
On the use that you do of these tools, because they can be double-faced. They can have a good effect on the industry and a bad effect. So it depends on the use that you do of it.
Okay, and for beginners bloggers, how do you increase your community on Instagram or Facebook? How you gonna do that?
How do you increase my followers?
Yeah.
People read, but actually now I'm not doing any kind of marketing anymore.
It's pretty natural.
Yeah, yeah. Now, after 4 years, it's more or less consolidated. Yes, of course, we keep growing on social media, but fortunately enough, we were the first to speak about bespoke tailors, so people know it. People know that all the other bloggers from Italy who came out of nowhere in the last few months are just somebody are just copying. I mean, I'm okay with it. I'm not the only one. I will never be the only one. I don't want to be the only one. But if you want to do something, just make sure to be original. Otherwise, you will always be a copy of someone else. You know. Why I believed so much in my project, because it was the first one in Italy focused on tailors. If it had been already somebody, maybe I would have not done it.
Do Italian men shop main brands like Boggi or Supply? What do you think about that brands today?
Well. I know them. I know both very well.
Okay.
I know the owners of Boggi and the owner of Suit Supply, so they're doing a good job, especially Suit Supply. Suit Supply is very clever. They brought classic elegance for men. They made it accessible, affordable for everyone. Also, they increased interest in young people towards maybe classic garments. Boggi is more Italian. I mean, some of the things that he sells are made in Italy, as much as Suit Supply. Suit Supply, I think, is doing a great communication compared to Boggi. They're more appealing, also with their editorials, with famous photographers. All the photos, their campaigns are very interesting, are sexy, it's clear that they are addressed to an audience of young persons, 30 years old people, you know, people in their 30s with a job, who wanna look well without spending a lot of money. That's more or less what Boggi does, but in a more classic way, because maybe Suit Supply plays a bit more with colors, whereas Boggi is a bit more classic. The only problem with both is that they don't produce everything in Italy. They have their jackets made in China or Turkey or whatsoever, which is not a problem for China or Turkey. I don't hate people from nowhere in the world. The problem is that they keep going to produce abroad to cut the costs. And what happens to our companies? They close, they go bankrupt. Why? Because they say, if I have to produce in Italy, then my jackets would cost 3 times more. If everybody would produce in Italy, the costs would go down, you know. So the problem is, I understand it's business and they're not doing charity. Maybe also the government should help Italian companies to produce in Italy, and maybe it's something that the reshoring is called, this phenomenon. So instead of going abroad, people are getting incentives to produce in Italy. That's something that I would appreciate. The problem is that suit supply is made, instead of Boggi is made by Italians, suit supply is made by Dutch people. And it's funny, in my opinion, that a Dutchman buys Italian fabrics, because suit supply is made completely of Italian mills, buys Italian fabric, has them made in China and sells them to the Italians. So it's in my opinion, I'm joking of course, but it's a signal of the Italian laziness, because we could have done it. We had everything to do it. I mean, we had the Italian mills, we had the contacts, we could have done it, but we didn't. So I'm only sorry for that. That's it.
What's your plans for the future?
For the future, to grow the Bespoke Dudes team, maybe do, as I'm doing more collections of the Bespoke Dudes Hour, meeting new people and growing this project, which is now my life, my baby, as I used to say. The Bespoke Dudes, I always say, is like my son, you know, and I hope to see it growing in the future. So I don't know how it will, but for sure it will. I mean, it has got to grow, because companies are meant to grow. If they are stable, they will not survive, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you, Fabio.
Thank you, merci.